the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate. And good morning to all my South Shore neighbors. This is Sharon McNamara. You are, of course, listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. No, you haven't heard my voice in a couple weeks. Wow, it's been crazy.
Yeah, it has.
But you've had, the one and only Melissa Wallace, who is always here. She's my sidekick. Of course, she is our everything. And more importantly, she is my liaison for everything that happens here at Boston Connect Real Estate. She's been holding down the fort for me, and she's been here the last couple weeks. Last week with Kristen Howlett, full-time real estate agent here at Boston Connect, and the week before with Tracy Grady.
Yep.
So I appreciate that. And of course, we have Tim in studio. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Sharon. Good morning, Melissa.
Good morning.
How I've missed you so.
Oh, I missed you too.
Yeah.
But Melissa's done a good job.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, Tim.
Kept Tracy in line. And,
That's hard to do.
It was pretty good. I know.
You did. I actually caught like the end of their show that day, and it was really, really good. But I gotta tell you, wow! I don't even know if Melissa probably doesn't tell anything about my personal life, but the Saturday before that, I was doing the show, and I said to Melissa, I was blow drying my hair this morning. I sort of tweaked my neck a little bit. Didn't think anything of it.
Oh no.
By the end of the day, Saturday, I couldn't move. Mark and I decided to go get a massage. That didn't go well. They weren't really the best, well-trained, I guess, or whatever. I could not move my shoulder and arm for an entire week. It was awful. Yeah. I actually asked Mark, do you think it's like too much for me to ask the doctor to just amputate my arm?
Yeah.
Oh,
it
Sharon,
would have been too much.
Don't go that far.
Mark said, you know what Mark said, Tim, Mark looked at me, he goes, I think we need a bigger conversation than that.
Yeah. Hold on. Wait.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah, it was actually scary. And I know, hey, listen, the first couple minutes of the show will be, our show, right? And I got to tell you, it was scary, and pain is real. And I honestly would have given birth without Pitocin or anything. It was so bad. Mark stayed home an entire week with me. Couldn't lift I couldn't even type. The weight of my own body, my arm.
Yeah.
It was horrific.
Yeah. I stopped by your house. We had a full-on conversation. And then you asked me yesterday, oh, did you ever do that? Yeah, we had a whole conversation about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, you were in pain.
Oh,
and then, then you got to relax a little.
Yeah.
And I don't say that, and I will say this. I didn't announce to the world that you weren't going to be home for a whole entire week. How dangerous.
I know, we don't talk about that.
So I just say, oh, yeah, she's busy. Mm-hmm. She's busy. And then we talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, man. It was, yeah, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
You went to Jamaica.
I went to Jamaica. It was a last minute decision. And, Mark and I decided to just book it a couple weeks ago, three weeks ago. He's like, let's just book it. We did go away, for those who listen often. I did go away at Christmas time, but unfortunately, I worked the entire time. Mm-hmm. I was away the last time, so we did a little bit of a makeup. And, it was really good, too, though, because I think it was not only good for my soul, it was good for my body to just relax, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you did.
Boy, there's a lot of pot smoking going on in Jamaica, man.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's apparently.
Yeah. I honestly do love the smell of marijuana. Have I ever told you that?
Yeah, you have.
No.
Yeah, well, I do.
Oh,
I just
okay.
love the smell of it, but I'm not a good pot smoker. Like,
Yeah.
it's legal here in Massachusetts and everything now. Like, I just don't like it.
Yeah, it's just
You
not
know?
my jam.
It's not my jam either. I'd like a nice glass of wine and feel silly, a
Yeah.
couple puffs. Mark's like, you
Well,
don't
there's
call
other
them
ways.
puffs.
Call it a
If
puff.
you really wanted to get into the Mary Jane, Sharon, there's other ways to do it besides just smoking.
Yeah, gummies and stuff like that.
Yep, there's gummies, there's beverages, there's chocolate, there's
Oh, chocolate. Now you're
there's,
talking my language.
there's even a candle that you can melt in it. Well, I don't think it has THC, but it has CBD oil in it, and you can massage that on.
So I'm going to tell you. So they had a spa where we were, and I know I sound very bougie right now, but like 22 years of working, 7 days a week.
You deserve it
I,
once in a
I
while.
deserve being
Yeah,
bougie a little bit.
yeah.
Yeah, but no, we did go and get massages a couple days, and just because of my shoulder and everything. Oh my God, it felt so great. But I did do a CBD massage, and I bought the CBD. It was like a sort of like a gel, not a gel. It's
Like a
some
paste?
yeah. And an oil, and then they like sprayed something on it. But I did buy it. But I said to Melissa this morning, she gave me a hug when she saw me because that's how we roll. And I said I might smell like CBD oil.
And I said, well, I can't smell anything. So
There you go.
You
Not
could,
a problem
you could
there.
smell you could smell like anything in the world right now.
Yeah,
So if I disappear for a moment during the show, it's because I'm blowing my nose. My allergies are insane.
yeah.
The change of the weather, it's just bad for me.
Well, in Jamaica, right? It was so relaxing. I got to tell you, this has probably been the most relaxing vacation I have ever had in my life.
Yeah.
And we didn't do a lot of running around. We stayed at Couples in a Grill. If anybody's thinking about it, I highly recommend it. It's, their low rise is 3 stories, so they must have some type of zoning ordinance there. And, just very chill, very relaxed. The food was fantastic. The staff was amazing. See, a lot of that, my friend. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And the staff was just truly amazing. And I said to Mark one day, we should bring back this staff, or we should come here and do a webinar with the staff on how to do customer service
Yeah.
because they were that great.
Yeah.
So I said to Mark, and again, I was talking to one of the guys, and it equals out that they make about $2 an hour.
Wow.
Yeah, these staff people that are
Wow.
working their buttocks off, right? And I said, Mark, let's do something special because I always get my ones from you. I
Yeah,
forgot
and
to
you
get,
didn't, yeah.
So we always like to tip, people, even though it's a no tipping hotel. Like we like to give people, a little appreciation. And I said, Mark, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to I usually buy myself a little trinket when I'm away. I said,
Yeah.
I'm not going to buy myself a little trinket. I'm going to take some money, and I want to, whoever we feel as if was like the most special.
Mm-hmm.
I want to do that. I want to give this person, it was $100
that's
bucks.
very
I
nice.
gave him $100,
Yeah.
right? So I did. We ended up choosing OJ. He was this 22-year-old young man who was in water sports. He's only been in water sports 3 months, right? And I'm telling this story because I think it's just inspirational too. And he's only been in there 3 months. And I said, well, where did you start? You've been here for 4 years. He goes, I was a dishwasher. And I was like,
Wow.
in my head, wow, the talent of this young man and his personality to be like talking to dishes, right?
Yeah.
And he goes, I just went up to my supervisor and said, I really like to be in a different department. I'd like water sports. So they discussed it and he moved on. And when I left, I got a little postcard and it said one love on the front of it and blessed. And I said, and I wrote him a little note and I just said, because he gave us his life story, right? One of like 10 kids, dad in the picture. Mom lives in Montego Bay. We were in New Grill, so doesn't get to see family a lot. Gets the bus at 4 to get to work by 6.
Wow.
Leaves at 2 and gets home. Oh, leaves at like 3, gets home later. Hardworking. When we went snorkeling, I said, my arm. I told him about my arm because he said, oh, you want to go paddle boarding? You want to do these things? I said, I really can't. So I went snorkeling and I said, if I feel too tired, can I go on the boat? And he's like, of course. He goes and he talked to his supervisor and his supervisor said, hey, come with us. So he was with me the entire time snorkeling and he kept on saying, are you okay, Mon? Are you okay, Mon? And I was like, I am. The exercise actually felt good on my shoulder, but he just went above and beyond. And I thought I said to Mark, what impressed me the most about this young man was care.
Yeah.
Just genuine care. He was just fabulous. So I wrote him a little note and just said, just so you know, there are two people in the world who have faith in you and that you can do anything that you want to do. And the last day we were there, he wasn't there Thursday, but we left and he was leaving Wednesday. He came down to the beach, and I said, I have a little something for you. We chose you out of everyone here. And I'm going to cry and then I read it to him and he started crying.
No.
Yeah.
Was he the one in the picture with
Yeah.
Mark?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. He helped decorate our sandcastle. Well, Mark's dinosaur, whatever it is. So, yeah.
Sea creature. That's so nice. That's so good.
He was just such a nice kid.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyways, that's my story. It was wonderful. And if anyone wants any more info on Couples New Girl, let me know. I don't get any type of referral fee for it.
Who knows? If you're starting to do webinars down there, you might.
I know. I'm just telling you, it was a wonderful way of life. And I guess maybe because everyone's high, but they can't smoke when they're working. I asked.
Oh.
Before I went snorkeling.
No, that's not a smart idea. All hands on deck, brain cells included. Yes.
Yeah, brain cells included. Yeah, it was interesting though. But you want to go parasailing? No, we're all set. We're not going to go parasailing. Do you want to buy some? No, I don't. And I definitely don't want to go parasailing with you now.
Yeah.
You're driving the boat.
Oh, gosh.
Anyways. Yeah, so thanks for holding down the fort.
Yeah, I'm glad you had a great time.
Yeah, I did.
You guys had some relaxing time. And you're probably going back.
Yeah, I definitely think that I will be going back. So I really enjoyed it.
Good.
Yeah, so what are we talking about today?
Speaking of enjoying things.
It's hot in here.
Well, it's because the door is closed. That's what happens. I know it gets a little warm and toasty in here, but we're trying to keep the echo down for Tim and for all of our listeners.
No, don't just do it for me. No, just do it for you.
Yeah. Yeah, but it is a little toasty in here. But yeah, so we're talking about new construction. So I went through all of our past shows, and everybody knows that we used to do a Tuesday night show, and now we just do the Saturday morning show. And we haven't done a show just on new construction since last July. So I thought, okay, well, why don't we do that? You know, it's something that we tend to incorporate in every single conversation that we have, mainly because you do a lot of new construction and have throughout your whole career. But right now you have 2 developments. So, you know, and one of them, maybe even both of them are almost sold out. So
we're getting close.
You know, you're getting close with both of them. So let's get them sold.
Yeah, I'm working on it. I'm telling you. I was hoping that Mary would have them all sold by the time I got back, but nope, that didn't happen. But, you know, it's interesting too because with this topic last night, I was actually sort of getting back into things, and I was reading some articles, and this is nothing political. I don't want to get political about it, but with the tariffs that are being, you know, put on now. So I think that deadline has passed, and the extra tariffs, you know, went to Canada and I think Mexico, right? So it was 25% to Canada, if I have those numbers right. And if I don't, please call in 781-837-4900. Feel free to do that. And if you have any questions about real estate, even other than new construction or of new construction, feel free to call us 781-837-4900. But the tariffs, you know, I'm thinking about like how will this impact new construction? And we probably will see some type of an impact on it, even though these are reciprocating, you know, tariffs. This is now going to be, you know, they're putting more back on us, right? So it's just one of those things, how it's going back and forth. But if it's, you know, more to get construction materials, then that's only going to increase the price of homes, which is really the opposite of what we need to be doing right now. Right.
Well, I'm just thinking about, you know, we've talked about it on the show, how a lot of builders don't want to build ranch style homes because of the materials that go into it. So it's more foundation, it's more roof. And now could that impact all styles? Because of the price of lumber that comes in from Canada or anything else. So time will tell, I guess.
Yeah.
But for now, we have some.
We have some.
We
and,
have some.
And that's the thing is, how is this really coming down to the consumer? And as you know, I mean, we always base everything on what's best for home buyers and home sellers. And I've been saying now my daughter Mackenzie is, out in Dallas. She's looking for a home. And, I was talking to her yesterday. Mark and I, had a conversation with her yesterday, and we were looking at a couple of the homes that she went and looked at. And she's like, Mom, it's just, I can't believe like how unfair this is. So she's in one of the situations similar to what happened to you. She got pre-approved when she was, working in Rhode Island. What her pre-approval was then, and then now it's different.
Yeah.
Because the interest rates went up.
Yeah.
And she goes, how did it stay the same? And I go, she goes, I'm making more money. And I said, it's in different, what is that? Whatever, like the cost of living and everything.
Yeah.
I feel like where she is probably cheaper than Newport, Rhode Island. But it's because of the interest rates going up higher. So that's why she's still sort of stuck in that same price range.
Yeah, I think, at one point I had like $100,000 difference
Yeah.
in buying power. So it really does depend on your interest rate. And if you can refinance, after the fact, that's great. But sometimes that even takes time.
Yeah.
So if the rates aren't coming down or whatnot. But yeah, and I hope Mackenzie gets what I told you yesterday. I said, I hope she buys, if she's planning on staying there for at least 6 years.
At least 6 years to get her, her PhD and stuff like that. But yeah, we talked to her again last night, and she's like, I think we just decided that we'll just rent for now. So she doesn't want to feel rushed into something.
Yeah, there's no rush.
Yeah.
There's no need to rush. So
yeah. And so I was reading an article from the National Association of Home Builders, and of $8.2 billion worth of sawmill and wood products imported in 2024, nearly 72% of these imports came from Canada.
yeah.
So can you imagine total imports of sawmill and wood products from Canada totaled $5.9 billion. So you can see, and then it says imports of lime and gypsum, I don't know what that is, products from Mexico totaled $354 million in 2023 and $481 million worth in 2024. So, that's, I'm trying to think about how this is going to affect people. I mean, the rates are coming down, but if you think about like, the rates are higher than they were obviously a few years ago, and prices were going up because they were more, I mean, when the rates were low, then everyone was buying. So the prices of homes were artificially inflated, in my opinion, right? It was all emotional value, right? But an emotional value sale price ends up being a comp. So that's what kept on pushing it up.
Yeah.
So now we have that. We have high sale prices, high listing prices. We have low inventory still.
Yeah.
And now on top of that, our saving grace was, new construction. Now that's going to be even higher too. So I missed out on a couple conversations this week with our contractors, but I'm looking forward to having like a little talk with them about it.
Yeah. It like I said, time will tell, and it'll be interesting to see, what happens. But for now, in today, you do have two developments that are still active, and you have some townhomes. And do you have single families left?
We have one single family lot left, in West Bridgewater. So the rest of those are, under agreement, and hopefully some foundations went in while I was away because it was too cold. We had a cold winter. But, the good news, too, is, larger builders, they were probably stockpiling wood and things like that.
Yeah.
If you're already under agreement, it isn't anything that you probably have to worry about. You should look at your purchase and sales agreement on that, because when things went up during COVID, there was a clause in there that said that things could, your price could increase.
Yeah.
So I think, new construction is still a great way to go if there is low inventory, because I think we probably won't feel that impact for a while.
And we've talked about this before, and I think it's in our agenda for today is, there also is another option with new construction to buy a model home. So we've talked about that, a home that's already built, so you're not waiting that 6 months and maybe the unknown of if the price was going to go up. And, you can put an offer on one of the model homes, and you get sort of the best bang for your buck. And we've talked about that before. And sort of builders use their model homes to showcase what they can do. And because you don't choose everything yourself as a buyer, there's an incentive there to buy them.
Yeah. And two, reading further into this article, it does say, I mean, I don't want anyone to think I'm never going to be Chicken Little, by the way, the sky is not falling. But, America is going to put timber production and other, building materials, at the top of their list of things to start expanding the production here in the United States. So, you know, and that might be great. Now we have more jobs here, more people who can afford homes, more people who are able to move, you know what I mean? To sort of get that flow of, our resale product and homes like sort of pushed out. I always call it a ketchup bottle.
It'd be interesting to see where those trees are.
Yeah, I know.
That they'll be
taken
down.
The Canada border.
I don't know. But okay, so why don't you sort of go through the process, of your new construction? And obviously speak from, personal sales that you've done, and you're currently working with Stonebridge Homes. You've worked with them before in other developments. Why don't you just briefly describe how the process starts if somebody's thinking about purchasing new construction?
Yeah, and I think in our office too, I mean, not only do Mary and I do a lot of new construction, but we have lots of agents in our office that are very well versed in new construction. Tracy Grady, the Grady team, Tracy and Jim have had a lot of new construction developments. In fact, when Tracy first got her license and she was on my team, and I said, you know what, you shouldn't be on my team, you should be on your own. And then ultimately Jim ended up joining her. But one of their first, listings was a whole new construction development. And of course the Flynn's, Trish and Nick Flynn do a lot of new construction as well. And, I think it's nice to be well versed in this. So I guess my top tip for anybody who, like for a home buyer who wants to buy new construction, I really, 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 I've talked about it in the past, but the importance of a buyer's agent, one, is very important. But the importance of a buyer's agent that has knowledge of new construction is even more important. It isn't one of those things where the buyer's agent should not just drop you off at the door and say, okay, I'll see you in 6 months when the house is built.
And it's amazing how often that does happen.
It does. It does.
Or they try to let it happen.
Sometimes I wonder if, I feel bad for the buyers when they're like, well, I just want to come and see the house. I just want to go and measure and I just want to do this. And it's like, all right, well, that's time out of my schedule, which means it should be time out of your buyer's agent schedule.
Yeah.
But the real reason behind that is because inevitably there are always conversations that are going to happen when you're measuring for your refrigerator, or when you're measuring for your curtains, or whatever it is that you're doing. There inevitably is some type of conversation that will end up happening. And I really do believe that the buyer's agent should be there for all aspects of those conversations. So that's why I like the buyer's agent to be there.
Well, also, you as a listing agent, you represent the builder. You don't represent. So if a buyer's agent is not there to represent their buyer, they are an unrepresented buyer, and they have no skin. So, nobody is looking for their interests. Of course, you have a moral compass and would never do anything, but at the end of the day, you represent the builder. So you are looking out for the builder's best interest.
Yeah.
So that's why it's important to have some representation, no matter what, if it's a resale or if it's, buying new construction. It's worth the value in weight in gold, or whatever the hell it's called.
Weight in gold.
Can you say the H word? I just said the H word.
What? H-E-L-L?
Yeah, H-E-L-L. Can you say that, Tim?
You can say
Sorry.
Oh, Melissa, how could you?
Hell?
No,
I
it's
just
funny.
said it,
It's
and I was
okay.
like, oh
Yeah,
my
no,
gosh,
that
am I
one-
allowed to say that?
Yeah, hell is the place.
They're okay. It's the other ones you got to worry about.
Okay, all right.
Hell is
the
the
other
place.
ones. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's
Yes,
on
it is.
Earth.
It's a place, right, Sharon?
Yeah, it's a place. I don't know if you can talk about the donkey. I mean, can you say something about the donkey, the other word for a donkey?
What, the
I don't
ass?
think-
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
you
see, you
can.
can. There you go.
All right.
Just don't say the other four-letter words.
Okay,
You'll
yeah.
be fine.
Yeah, stay away from those.
Yeah, Tracy
don't
Grady's watching us. Good morning.
Good
with the
morning,
sunshine.
Tracy.
Dee is saying, good morning. Ladies, can't stay long today. I have an event today. Oh, well,
Oh, well,
hopefully it's a great event.
Have fun at your event, Dee.
Yeah.
So with the new construction, with that process, I think for home buyers who do want new construction, you know what I hear a lot from people? Tracy can probably give us a thumbs up on this too. I'm sure she hears it all the time. oh, well, I just want to find a piece of land and then I want to build a house on it. Those days are so like, it's so difficult to do. There are ones and two of them out there and available, but finding land in our area is really difficult. So if there is one lot or another lot available, like a single lot somewhere, generally you have to know somebody, you know what I mean? You have to be ahead of it before it gets on to the market.
There was this video on TikTok that like sort of went viral, and I have to do that in 1 second. Sort of went viral, and it was like this couple. They were like, "Oh, you know, my grandmother gifted me this land, and we built our dream home. We worked so hard," and everyone roasted them because they're like, "Oh yeah, you had a pretty good setup when your grandmother just gave you land.
Yeah.
That's the hardest part."
Yeah, exactly. Well, you know, Amy Masfera, she put something on last night. I don't know who the person was in the background. But that was hilarious to me if we're just talking about like social media. So it was on Instagram and it said, it was like when your best friend tells you that she bought a house with another agent and you say, oh, congratulations, you should celebrate and buy a new car.
Yeah. Oh,
that was
gosh.
so funny.
Yeah, that was funny.
So if you listen to our shows, you know why you shouldn't do that, right?
Yeah, you shouldn't do that.
Yeah, so that's funny. So with the new construction, I think, you know, one, have a buyer's agent that is very versed in new construction. Two, you know, you have to do some, every builder does things differently. So if we think about even my developer with Stonebridge Homes, I'm down in Hanson, and we don't have any first floor primary bedrooms, but there is a development close by that does have that, that's offering first floor bedrooms, and it's a 55 plus. So I reached out to that builder and said, hey, I have a client that's actually interested in a first floor bedroom. And I didn't meet them at my subdivision, by the way, but these people I met separately. Actually, I met them in Pembroke at an open house in Pembroke at a 55 plus. And, you know, that's truly what they want. And we went and met with him in the way that builders do everything differently. So I know Tracy and Jim, the builder that they work for, one of the builders that they work for, he likes to just build the house and then, you know, here, this is it, it's done, and then let the buyer come in and buy it, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, somebody will. You know what I mean? Somebody is going to love it. Then there are the builders where you can do fully custom.
Yeah.
Or there's semi-custom.
Yeah.
That's the wheelhouse that I'm in right now, is this semi-custom field, and with Stonebridge. And so we do all the design and we sit down with you, we go over that, and you have limited options because it's semi-custom. It's not a fully customizable home. There are situations where you can, like in the single family ones. This other developer, so we'll say, okay, do you want to add, I don't even know, I can't even think of something, maybe a backsplash, right? Do you want to add the backsplash? What type of tile do you want? So we have different levels of tile. So you choose, okay, this is the tile I want. Okay, let me tell you how much that upgrade is on that tile. Then there are developers, like I said, Tracy's and Jim's, they'll build it and you just go and buy it. And you bought. That's how we bought our house, by the way. So our house was already done and we fell into that in 1992, so no longer new. And then there's this other developer that I went and saw. I'll say, oh, how does your process work? He does allowance.
Yeah.
So, okay, you have $5,000 allowance for this, for your appliances.
Yeah.
Go and get your appliances. This is where you'll get the best deal through us. Like, you know what I mean? Just tell them that you're working with us. You have $5,000. If you go over the $5,000, like, then it's on you.
Yeah, you
right?
pay for that.
You pay for that. You get a $10,000 allowance on cabinets. Here's the cabinet person. Go find your cabinets that you want. So there are different ways of looking at that, you know, at different builders and how they do it. At the end of the day, it all equals about the same, right? It all turns out to be the same when it comes to the new construction. So.
Yeah. Why do you think people choose new construction over resale homes?
Everything is new. Everybody likes everything shiny and new. And I think, too, you know, I always say I love walking through new construction. Again, you said it at the beginning of the show. I have been doing new construction the majority of my career. and with different developers over the years. And I love going into new construction when it's at the studs.
Yeah.
Like, and I always say, nothing smells as good as new construction. I just love it. Maybe I should work in one of those sawmills that they're going to be opening up on the Canada border.
I don't think so.
Yeah, no, that might not be
I
my
don't
jam.
think so. That's not your
Considering I
jam.
can't dry my hair without pulling out my neck, I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure that isn't going to be a job for me, lumberjack. But yeah, so I think that everybody just likes everything new. I mean, what are the benefits of it as well? I mean, the benefits are you have the new roof, you have the new heating system,
Yeah.
you have the most, the most efficient appliances, everything. So
It's up to code. Everything's
yeah.
up to code.
Yeah,
The
the energy.
efficiency,
Yeah,
energy. What is that called? The energy.
the HERS,
Yeah.
the HERS
something like
rating. Yeah.
But yeah, even like smart home features, like
Mhm.
things like that. I know Mark doesn't like the Nest thing.
Oh yeah,
He told
yeah,
me he
yeah.
doesn't like the Nest thing.
Yeah.
For heating, I think, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
But like, things like that it's easy to add to a brand new home,
Mhm.
because you're not disturbing anything, but it's a little bit more difficult when you're putting it into
Yeah.
a resale home.
Mm-hmm. And two, I think it's, things that you just don't have to think about. You know what I mean? One of the things that I do often talk about, though, and I don't know if it's in your agenda here, but when you are buying new construction and if it is a condo development, to really look hard at those condo fees. I know I've brought this up when we've had condo shows, shows on, HOAs and things like that. And the reason is, generally speaking, the condo fees can be a lot less while the developer still is the association and is holding the association, because they'll have a lot of their own people that are doing, the landscaping, or they have really big, they have contracts with, people who are doing not just one development, but 3 or 4 developments. So the pricing is better. And then, so people will say, oh, well, oh, that's great. The HOA fee is so low. Be aware of low HOA fees, because once your association takes it over,
Yeah.
then you need to, pay for those things. That's why it's really important to look at the budget.
Well, that's the other thing, is who's going to take it over after the development is done. So are you going to hire a management company, or are you going to self-manage? And even single family homes can have, HOA fees too. So it's not just the condos or the townhouses. If you have a private road, somebody, like, you guys have to maintain that and stuff like that. So if you have common areas, those things need to be maintained and money needs to be put aside for those things.
That's one of the things that I do appreciate with Stonebridge Homes is they do the calculations based on when they leave, what it will cost to, do the landscaping, do the snow removal, to do all those things. So when the association does take it over, they will, and then so they'll have a reserve, when the association takes over, and they can make the decision on how they want to run that after the fact. But that's my tip.
When purchasing new construction, do you have to do like an additional like monies for the reserve when you purchase? I'm just thinking of Jefferson, because for some reason I have in my head, like, when you first were selling Jefferson, because I know you've done resales now and there. I like vaguely remember, like, oh, this is an additional,
2 months, yeah.
2 months to put towards the reserves.
Generally, all the ones that I've seen or been a part of, it's always been that there would be 2 months of reserve. Some might be 3, some might be 4. I've never really seen 4, but you can do anything, really. I mean, if it's part of the association. So, yeah, so they generally are taking a couple months minimally when you first purchase the home to put towards the reserve. And then with the process, other than my big tips, again, buyer's agent, number 1, 2, buyer's agent with new construction, knowledge. And then, do your research on how does this builder do it? Is it allowances? Is it upgrade fees? How is that all done? And then, with the process, and, I'll talk a little bit about how we do it, us working for Stonebridge, is a reservation. And, it's nice that you're able to, when you have a whole new subdivision, and we have 3 different, in Hanson, we have 3 different styles of homes. So we have the Whitman, the Hanson, and the Pembroke. you can pick your style and then you can pick your lot. Like these are the lots I have
Mhm.
available. That Hanson will fit on this lot. This Pembroke will fit on this lot. The other thing too to look at is, are there premium prices
Oh, we
for?
have a phone call.
We have a caller. I always think that's my phone.
No, it's not your phone. No,
It's our phone.
I'm like, I'm in trouble.
It's the dump's phone if you want to, put it.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, anyway, forget it.
Yeah.
You have Amy Troop on the line.
Oh, hello, Amy Troop, my friend. How are you?
I'm well, Sharon. How are you?
I am doing fantastic, my friend. So Amy Troop is another real estate agent who works on the South Shore. She is fabulous, and I have known her for years and years and years. So what are your thoughts on this subject?
I just wanted to touch on first of all, I love how much you're doing for the South Shore. Thank you always.
My
But I
pleasure.
wanted to talk about the heating in the new houses. How is that affecting you, the stretch code with these new houses?
Yeah, so honestly, it's been great, for we're all electric in both of the developments that I am servicing. And we haven't had a problem with, people always think of Amy, you remember back in the day, it's like, oh, you have electric baseboard, right? And it's like, oh
Yeah.
no. That the reason why a lot of that wasn't very cost efficient ones is the electric baseboard, it went around the house, right? So for people who aren't familiar with that, one of the good things about that though is you could turn off each room,
Yeah.
right? So but the electric, but also the homes aren't built the way that they are built right now. So you had electric heat, but you also had a lot of heat escaping in different ways in different areas of the home, right?
Mhm.
Now with that HERS, rating thing that they have to do, it's crazy. These houses are so tight that they actually have to have now like these two, I think they're ARVs or AVRs. Um, they look like fans. They almost look like the fan you would see in your bathroom,
Mhm.
like out in the ceiling, but they're on the walls. There has to be two of them in the house to bring air out and into the house to circulate air because that's
Yeah.
how tight they are. But with the system itself is very, very efficient. So we're doing heat pumps in the developments that I'm doing right now, Amy. So the AC and the heat is all electric.
Mm.
But
Right. Yeah.
people
It's
have not
concerning, though,
complained.
because yet. How long how many houses? I'm not, I'm not disparaging this neighborhood at all.
No,
I'm
no, no, no.
disparaging the law
Yeah.
because if you said it yourself, like now we're using electricity for fans to ventilate houses because of the HERS code, and we're doing electric like we did in the 70s. Yes, the houses are tighter, but we are having problems with the base loads. And as of July 1st, 2024, a house cannot have oil or gas. I
Mm.
mean, I mean, I know you're doing what you have to do. You have nothing to do with it, but as realtors, we should be making it so that we're not losing oil and gas customers, or
And
businesses.
yeah, well, I 100% agree. As you know, I'm married to a plumber who does a lot of gas,
Yes,
right?
you are.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
for me, and, from a political vein, right? I think
Yep.
it's ridiculous that any type of government can put any type of regulation on any homeowner on how they have to heat their home.
Mhm.
Amen.
I think that is ridiculous. I'll just put that right out there. If I want gas, I should be able to have gas. If I want oil,
Mhm.
I should be able to have oil. Don't force me to do. I mean, I don't even know what's going to come next, though. I mean, everyone who's using electric, let's, Elon isn't invited and, isn't part of that process, but like what's going to happen, when everything is
Of
electric.
course.
And Amy, here's the big thing too, is what a lot of people don't know is, are there benefits given for, the builder or the homeowner to go electric? And why is that happening? Is it okay, you do all electric and we're going to give you like a $10,000 rebate on every house that has electric? If you're building a house somewhere, hey, if you decide to go electric, you're going to get a rebate. You know how they used to do, like they do with heating systems, right?
Yep. Yep.
Yeah. So like they're incentivizing you to go in their way.
Yeah, which I don't know if that is happening, but if there are any builders, it would be awesome if they'd call in and let us know about that. But I just think that it's really important for the people of Massachusetts to understand that the government is stepping in with the stretch code,
Mhm.
and the stretch code coming in. So each year since 2018-ish, since towns have adopted stretch code, which sounds good because it's green, but they make it a little tougher, and it's harder on the builders. And
Yeah.
I know a lot of builders are leaving the industry and the state to get away from these regulations because they make no sense. I mean, the renovations are kind of the scariest part. Like, you know, on stretch code, 30%, if you do a 30% renovation or more, they can come in and say, well, I'm not going to allow you a building permit unless you take out your gas stove, your gas heating, and your oil.
And your windows. Now there's new regulations on how to install windows.
Oh, come on. I didn't know about this yet. You want to enlighten me on that?
Yeah. So I was actually talking to Mark about this recently, and Mark does, obviously he's a plumber, but he does a lot of renovations and new construction in the Hull, Hingham area and Cohasset area. And he was talking to one of the foremen down there, and there's a new process that they have to go by and to install windows, and for those windows to be warranted and guaranteed. And the process, Amy, he was explaining it to me, and it has everything to do with, like, you know what I mean? Like everything that you don't see, you know, not the pretty stuff, but how it's installed. And you have to have so many nails and so many places and all this other stuff. And then it has to be inspected. And I'm not even talking about like being near the water. I'm talking about windows in general. So and again, Amy, is this the reason why we have low inventory, right? Because, and I've been saying this for years right now, and you know, Amy's on a lot of, you know, what are you on again you're in Halifax? Like, are you select board?
No, thank God. No, I'm on the Halifax Planning Board. And I was on the Halifax Beautification Committee picking up trash, but I kind of lost my steam on that because it keeps coming.
Yeah.
And but I also just I think that's it. That's the only one. I was on the Zoning Bylaw Review Committee, but the chair of the committee dropped the committee from 9 people to 5 people, and there wasn't one person from planning. And I don't know how he removed me. You know, want to hear this? I'm on the planning board, and I have an open seat sworn in by the town clerk, and somehow he removed me.
Well, first of all, there should be a member of planning on anything that has to do with zoning, but like that's just my thought on that. But I've been on zoning in Pembroke. I've been on several committees. I've been on conservation as well. Yeah. So, and this is one of the concerns that I've always had is, you know, are we making it too difficult for the builders to build? And I think the answer is yes. I mean, it's so expensive for them to get roads in, right?
Well, I was just thinking when you were talking about the windows, it's like, okay, well, is the cost of the actual window going to go up? Because who's going to want to do that labor? Who's going to want to go through all that? So now is the consumer going to have to pay more in order to get somebody to install windows in their house?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you think that no one's going to work for free, right?
Yeah.
So like the more time that you put one window in and more material, more everything, it's just going to bring the prices up. And this is what my initial thought was when, you know, Amy brought this up too, is if we make it more difficult, we're going to have less inventory, right? If we have less inventory, prices are going to artificially go up again. And that's where we're in this. And I've been saying this, Mel, you know, for years, we are in a state where I think we have the haves and the have-nots. And I feel terrible for the first-time home buyers. I just feel awful for them. Not even just the first-time home buyers, but just the home buyers in general. Like they can't do anything.
Well, that's true. But each year when the taxes go up, so even if you have a fixed rate on your mortgage, when the taxes go up, that's going up on every elderly, on every first-time home buyer, every mid-time, everyone. It does not discriminate.
Oh, yeah.
Even renters, it goes up on renters. That's why I tell people all the time, town meeting is where to go. You know, when we qualify people for houses, I mean, granted, it's the mortgage broker, but when we go around, we should be definitely making sure that when they're purchasing a home, they realize the assessment is going to go up and what the assessment's going to be times the tax rate and doing it based on the 2-year value. So if you sell a house that's been assessed for $400,000 as an example, just for being easy, and the tax is whatever it is, you need to make sure that they understand they're buying a house at $700,000, $600,000. That value has to go up over the next years to the 6 or 700. So add 200 times that tax
Mm-hmm.
rate of $13. Like, we got to make sure of this. So when we are putting people into the houses and they're just barely affording it, and then over the next couple of years we're raising the taxes, we're endangering people from
Being able to afford.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the problem. As I watch giant corporations build MBTA 3A housing, and we need to block that because, number one, it's mostly rental. It goes against every zoning bylaw,
Mm-hmm.
and it's corporations. I mean, in Halifax, we did a zoning overlay on December, I forget if it was December 13th or whatever, in 2023. They had a special town meeting to do an overlay of putting a 3.5-story building on 1.5 acres and another 102. So basically 102 apartments across the street from each other.
Mm-hmm.
That's not fair, number one.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, they are allowed to go away from all the zoning bylaws and put up rentals that are going to overload our schools. It's not for us, but they are given all of these waivers as multi-million-dollar corporations when our local builder who's trying to feed his family
Mm-hmm.
is getting all of these regulations put on.
Yeah.
This is the problem.
Well, and you know that too in Pembroke. So my office right in Pembroke Center, and next to us was Shepherd's Funeral Home, and they're going to be putting 66 apartments there, and a restaurant. But it's 55 plus, but it is part of like the 40B part of the build that's happening over at Pembroke Country Club. So the town allowed him to do his 40B somewhere else, which will be right next to us, but 66 apartments. And at least those will be 55 plus, but still 55, you could still have somebody in the school system. So like you said, it's going to impact a lot of different things when it comes to that. And, and this is, Amy, when you're talking about like the taxes and the things that people have to look at, it's so important. And I talk about this all the time. Yes, of course, I say, you need a professional real estate agent. You need someone who's doing this full time. And I always say, hey, I think that we have the best of the best at Boston Connect Real Estate. And I also say, we do have the best on this. We do have a lot of great agents, and you are one of them on the South Shore. And find that agent that is going to think about these long-term effects, things that are going to affect you, right? I always tell my buyers, hey, listen, just because this assessment right now, if this house is on the market 600 and the assessment is 500, please know that the assessment probably hasn't changed or adjusted in a while, but that assessment is based on the prior 2 years sales. So if the market keeps on going up and everybody sees that these home prices are artificially being exploded by emotional value, then everybody else's taxes are going to go up based on the decisions that people, again, I say have to make, right? The emotional aspect of things. So, Amy, we only have a couple minutes left. Is there any final thoughts that you'd like to say for all our listeners? Again, this is Amy Troop. She's a good friend of mine. She is a real estate agent here on the South Shore as well. Great person, and lots of knowledge.
Love you, and I look forward to seeing you around in the spring, getting those tours back on. And thank you for this talk.
All right. Awesome.
Much love, my friend.
All right. I'll talk to you soon. Much love. Yeah. One love, man. Yes. I was just in Jamaica. One love. So.
Have a safe, Sharon.
All right. You too. Again, that's Amy Troop. And, that's one of the things I love about, being in this industry so long is, we don't consider each other competitors. We consider each other colleagues. We just wear different logos, right? Different color logos. She is a great person, and she is very well versed in the political arena of how things work, which is why this, the HERS rating and the stretch code is really something that she's thinking long and hard about. So Town of Halifax is very fortunate to have her on the planning board. So
that's it.
Just at the end. Open houses, real quick.
Open houses. The Flynn team Team Flynn has a new listing, 30 Bagnell Drive, Unit 30 in Pembroke. They're doing an open house today, 10 to 12. That is on the market for $629. They have another home on the market, brand new construction, 2 Fontana Way, Bridgewater, from 11 to 1 tomorrow. That's on for $1,075,000. Faith Birmingham has a listing 85 Summit Street in Halifax that has a brand new price of $995. She is there tomorrow 11 to 1. And then Sharon and Mary are at Cushing Trails and Cochise Estates every single Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, you can always find me on my cell phone if you want to reach out to me, 781-294-4848. If you're thinking about buying or selling a home, you can feel free to give me a call, and I'm happy to give you an analysis. 781-294-4848, or you can go to bostonconnect.com. We have a new website coming out soon, so keep your eyes open for that. Thanks, Tim. Have a great weekend.
You too. One love, ladies.
One love, man. One love.
This beautiful day.